Welcome to Be the Ripple podcast. I'm Sabine, and I'm so glad you're here. This podcast is inspired by the Ripple Network, a platform dedicated to empowering women amplify their voices. Just like the network, this podcast is about creating space for connection, growth, and powerful storytelling. Here we shine a light on remarkable individuals who are breaking barriers, building bridges, sparking ripples of positive change in their communities and beyond. And in every episode, we share powerful stories of resilience, courage, and purpose, showing how even the smallest actions can have an extraordinary impact. So get ready to feel inspired, empowered, and reminded of the incredible potential we have to leave our mark. So let's create ripples together.
Hey, good morning, Suzanne.
Good
How are
morning.
you?
I'm good.
Good.
I hope you too.
I am. I'm super excited. This is actually our conversation is the first podcast recording.
That
So
is
really
exciting.
excited to have that and to be discussing the Ripple Network today with you. And yeah, just learning more about you, what excites you about all of this. I'm just excited to dive into the conversation.
Yeah, me too, definitely.
Yeah. As we end 2024 and we dive into 2025, exciting times.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear a little bit about you. Who's Suzanne? What excites you? Share as much as you want, professionally, of course, and private. So I'd love to hear about what really makes you like get up in the morning and get excited about this space that we're in with the Ripple Network.
Well, I thought about that. And I think for me, if I had to give a short answer now, I will give a longer answer later. But it's the really short answer because it is about one thing for me. And that is about building and maintaining a network that really thrives on authentic connections. For me, making connections and networking is just a very important thing anyway. And I've actually, like one of the most meaningful connections that I have is you, which started over 15 years ago, I think. Yeah, a really long time. And I feel that we built a connection based on honesty, open communication, and mutual respect. And over the years, we've supported each other through the highs and lows, always providing each other with valuable feedback and acting as mirrors to help each other grow.
Yeah,
And I
it's so
think
true.
that's what this network and this Ripple network is also going to be about, giving each other feedback, to have a safe space where you can share your thoughts, where you can share your ideas, but also the things that you aren't too happy about and that you wish to develop. So, and I also feel that like with our connection, it just didn't stay only personal. It's become a professional partnership as well. So we are working together, obviously in this space, but also in our professional life, where I work with you for 8 years now in the same company. And again, where we go through highs and lows, but we stay in it together. And for me,
Yeah.
that connection is just very important. And now we're working on this amazing platform, the Ripple Network, where I will be showcasing my mediation and also my mentoring services. Mentoring is something that I've done for the past 7 years too, at the HBA, and there you also see how important the networking is. Again, making the connections. Everyone is in the same, in the same space. You share with each other. You help each other, and I think that's what this platform is really.
Yeah. Wow. So many good points. And something that stuck with me when you were talking about the safe space and getting feedback, because I think especially with speaking and as I was working also on my talk as well, it's like you feel like you're just opening yourself up. It was so great to be in an environment where I could get feedback and it came from a place that was supportive. And I think that's what you were saying, which is so, so valuable, that you feel comfortable getting feedback. And, I think we all do it. We can feel, some people get defensive. They're like, oh, I don't like to have this feedback. But what I heard someone once say that she saw feedback as a gift. Sometimes it's hard to see it as a gift.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have good and bad days, but if we really work at seeing it as a gift, I think that can just add such value. And you're right about that's what we want to create. That's the kind of environment that we want to create in the Ripple network, is that people could be vulnerable, and the feedback that they get is meant to raise them up and to make them even stronger in what they're doing.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah. And I think what is a very important item in that is that it is very important that people know how to give feedback.
Yeah,
because
that's so true.
That's something that I do in my professional life quite a lot, is that we speak a lot about giving feedback, and that the way you give feedback is also super important, whether people receive it as a gift or receive something completely different. So that's key in that too. And I think that this is the ideal platform to do that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Okay. That's going to be like the theme for 2025, right? Seeing feedback as a gift. Let's see if we can stick with that. We all have to hold each other accountable for that.
Yeah, totally.
I think some days we can take that gift better than others.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. Yeah. I like this conversation where it's going. So if you think about, because the Ripple network is a new concept, it's just being introduced, and people need to understand it and to get a better idea of it. And if you had to pick 5 words, what words would you use to describe it, and why? And why would you choose those words?
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, the first one is not a surprise. That's connection. We spoke about that because it offers a place to connect. And with that, the connection needs to be empowering. So that would be the second one. The second word is empowerment, that people that connect with each other on the platform feel empowered by reading other stories, hearing other stories, learning from other smart women, because there are many, hopefully, many smart on the platform. Of course, the partners already show their strength and their power, and I think it's very empowering to see and hear that. The other one, which ties very much into empowerment, is learning. So learning would be the third word. Feedback is the other one, and then inspiration would be the last one.
Oh, that's nice.
Because it's a place to give and receive feedback and also get inspired by other members.
I think that inspiration piece is really nice too. You know, one of the reasons that the Ripple Network has started is to share stories, and stories are so inspirational. You know, the more I talk to people and ask questions and, you know, are curious about them, the more these stories come out. Every time I speak to someone and somebody shares part of their career or an experience that they had or a story, there's always seems to be some sort of inspiration in that. So that's so nice. And I think that this is such a beautiful place to carry that on, and that to keep this living and to keep this inspiration living for others. Because sometimes we keep it in our own little world, and, you know, they're the people that we are connected with. But what I think is cool is that we can inspire so much more, so many more people with this. So I love that. Great words.
Thanks.
And this is a new concept. And so I'm curious to hear when, because you've heard about it and, you know, you've kind of heard me talk about it and the ideas behind it. But did you have like a moment when you're like, yeah, this would be really interesting to be a part of this?
I mean, I feel like I'm getting into like this repetition, but again, for me, it's really about the insight that I got that we all need a strong network around us that can help you in a situation when it's most needed and when it's most needed for you. So that can be, you know, when you're in a personal situation at work that you don't like, or there's a situation around you that you feel uncomfortable with, you know, where the world is going, or that you feel like, actually, I want to be on stage more. You know, there are more things that you can think about. So for you, when it's most needed, to be able to join the network. And if you don't know what the best channel is, or even where to start, then the Ripple network can definitely be that starting point, I think. For me, my motivation to join the platform is very much about connecting with others and to provide opportunities to people to build a network that they can rely on. That reliance part is also very important. I already mentioned the safe space, and I think there are so many tools out there. I mean, people have a big network anyway, and we speak a lot about sponsorship too. There are many people in your network that you can actually connect with. I think when it's on one platform, which is about amplifying your voice and is about learning from others, that was for me a real insight, and to say like, okay, this would be a good thing to join, and also for me to learn about.
Yeah, definitely. I see it as also the connections and the conversations. As partners, we give feedback and support individuals who want to share their stories. So as people will start to see this, the way that it's set up is that you load in videos, you load in your talks, and then the partners give feedback, which is such a nice thing. Also, what I find interesting is kind of moving to these partners, that these are individuals that bring a certain skill set and a variety of skill sets, which I think is interesting. That really talk about diversity. It's quite a diverse group that makes up the partners. And I think that feedback from such a different perspective adds such value. So it's not just one way of thinking.
Indeed.
So if you look at, I'm going to be doing calls with all the partners, so everyone will get a chance to meet them all. But if you think about yourself and what skill sets and what kind of value you bring to the members of the platform, how would you describe that?
In my professional life, and also in my, with the relationship that I have with my friends and my partner, is that what people value about me is that I bring different perspectives in terms of how I look at things. It's usually different than other people would do. And especially if you're in a moment that you're stuck, you don't see these perspectives anymore. And so that's something that I think I can bring to the table. I am also a seasoned mentor.
It's true.
And I think I'm an excellent listener.
That you are, that you definitely are.
Which can help a lot. Because sometimes people just need to vent, right? They just need to tell what's on their mind, on their shoulders. And I have a way that I truly listen and actively listen as well. And with that, I think I act as a mirror, giving people the opportunity to reflect and also to learn from their reflections again. So for me, it's really a two-way street. I've also developed a skill to navigate more difficult conversations. And I believe in the art of listening. I mean, that's really something that is in my core and in my core behavior as well. And with that, asking the right questions too. Another thing that I would like to teach people and that I think that I can do is what value it can bring. Also to be quiet instead of wanting to fill that silence that's there with your words, because that's what people do a lot, especially in situation where things get quiet or there's like this heavy discussion going on. I'm usually the one not saying anything because I'm just looking at what everyone is saying and what do they feel, and asking questions to further see what's inside and what is the actual struggle. And what you see when then people get quiet, there's always one person who's like, I now need to jump in. And then at that moment, it's actually best to just stay quiet. And I want to give people examples and give people the opportunity as well to practice that, because it's a very important skill to have.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. What's interesting about that is that when you think about, because the Ripple Network, as you said this as well, it's about your voice and it's about communication and how you present. And there's lots of ways that we do this. So some people may come to the Ripple Network and they want to create or share an inspirational story, and they want to work on how do I present that and how do I get that story out. Others may be looking to do a thought leadership talk for their company, or they want to share information and knowledge that they have and tell the story around that. But I think what's also really important is that what we can learn in these conversations and using our voices is like what you said too, is that it's also when you're in a business setting, when you're in a conversation with someone, we think less about that we're presenting, but we actually are so much of the day, right? We're talking, you talk to clients, you talk to your colleagues, you talk to employees, and that's also using your voice and how do you navigate some of these difficult conversations. So I think sometimes, again, when we think about presenting and we think about the Ripple Network, sometimes it could be put in compartmentalized, like different ideas. But I think it's also so much about what you've just said around just your daily interaction with people. Having that pause, wow, that's also a very powerful thing, and not always having to use your voice, but also not use it in the appropriate times and to ask questions. And I think that's what's That's what's so cool about how the evolution and the idea of the Ripple Network came, is that it actually is part of our lives. And no matter what we do, we don't have to give a speech in order to learn how to speak and engage with colleagues. Nice. And I love that. I really love the pause. I think that that is so powerful, because I see you do that too when lots of people are talking, and sometimes we fall over ourselves to talk, and you kind of always go back and listen. And what's interesting, and in those situations, when you do that and when that pause is there, people do look around and go, what do you think, Suzanne? Because that pause somehow also has an impact on the people that are around you. It's really nice. The Ripple Network there's lots of aspects of it, which we've talked about a bit. And I know that, again, some of the things feel repetitive of what we're saying. But again, if you reflect on it and some of the things that we've talked about today, what would you say that you feel is most unique about this platform and this membership option?
I think it's an easy, safe, and comfortable space to get connected to smart, like-minded people who are ready to help out and to elevate each other. I think that's a very valuable part. And especially what you said earlier as well, with the partners that we have, we bring such different elements to it, like a variety of skills, but also a variety in what we do and what we're good at. So you just don't go to the Ripple Network for one thing. It's a variety of things, but it's all interconnected, and it's all with the same aim to elevate other ways.
Yeah, I love this idea of elevating and supporting each other, because I feel that's so important to have that community, because it's so interesting. Also, just a positive word or positive affirmation about something that you've presented, or for instance, if you've loaded up a video and you're very conscientious about that. I know the first time that I did it as well, it was like, ooh, nail biting. And it's a big breath, but it's also very liberating. I think that you're right about also that safe space and just taking that step to have a place to do that. I think we've talked about a lot of the unique aspects of the platform and this type of environment. Is there anything else that kind of pops to mind that you think?
Yeah, I think like the easy access to valuable tools. That is like one thing.
True.
Because we, when the Ripple Network evolves and where we put more content on, it will be a very what I said, very varied platform with different tools, but also the ability to have group calls and private connections as well, by using the chat function or the timeline or things like that. Because it's almost like a social media platform, so where you can connect, where you can chat, but in a professional setting. And I think also the exclusive partner deals that will be on there is definitely something to check out, as you'll get access to information, also training on a discounted price. It can all be found in one platform, and I think that's just super valuable.
Yeah, true. And if you think about the variety, that makes me so excited. Thinking about what you've talked about today, about what you bring. Gina brings a lot of the branding and how do you kind of present yourself to the world. And Mary has this amazing way of reflecting and using breath. And Emma brings her vast experience and also doing inspiring talks. So it's such a cool combination. You're right. Normally you go in lots of different directions to try to get this information if you want to work on your presentation skills and what you want to do. But it's consolidated. So it's easy. You're right. And easy is important too, to get a lot of value in one spot.
I think so too. Yeah. It's scalable too. So when we get the feedback, or when the feedback is actually given, hey, I'm looking for something else, it's all about the connections again and the network. So there are different things that can be added onto it, and see what is most used, what will be valuable.
I think what's important too is obviously the partners are going to be giving feedback, but the whole community is there to do that, and which is really
indeed.
cool. So then you get like the diversity in perspective is going to it's multiplied, which is also really nice.
True.
So you get lots of insight. Wow. If you think about the broader impact. So we've talked a lot about individuals, but what if you kind of envision the future? Where could you see it going and how could you see it impacting people we've talked about, but what about organizations as well?
Well, I mentioned earlier, I think the Ripple network definitely has the ability to scale and also offer programs that is not only suited for individuals, but companies as well, especially those companies that, that invest in their employee development. They want to offer a tool that will help empower their teams, their leadership teams, or maybe the people in the middle management layer to help them grow. The Ripple network is then a source for knowledge and to put their employees on stage too. Because that is not only important to, for the individual employees, but also for the companies, because they're more visible. They can say, hey, here we have this amazing talk, which can be showed on conferences, in a live setting, an event, but also on using more like professional networks like LinkedIn, for instance. It increases the visibility for their employer brands, but also for the brand as a company. Showcase what it is that they have to offer and how they empower their people to actually do it.
There's that empower again. Yeah, it's empowering individuals and having companies to be able to empower their people.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we've all talked about as well, like on some of the calls, is that we're excited about also giving options for companies to be able to put packages and grow their talent pool and to grow the individuals that within their company that's an affordable and a high quality. Because I know, nowadays too, we've seen it over the past couple of years, financing can be difficult. One of the things that's difficult even for small companies to do is to find options to develop their employees. I think that makes me also very proud, is to say that, hey, we've got options. There are options that you can do that are affordable, that will show you value your employees, and also just give them a place to grow and to expand into new places. So I'm really excited about that too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
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 Lots of cool things.
Yeah.
Well, what a treat it's been just to talk about this and to hear your thoughts about this. So thanks so much. And we hope that we've sparked some interest for people to have a look and check it out and see what you think about the Ripple network, whether it be for your company or maybe for you. You want to take on a new exciting step and potentially create an inspirational talk, then could be the place for you to test it out.
Indeed. Yeah. It's really about what we said earlier, right? The true personal connections. A platform that is alive and inspiring. Yeah. It's important to create ripples together too.
Yeah.
Because those small, meaningful connections can truly change you where you're in, and with that, your world around you.
Yeah, those ripples, there's something else. All right. Thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful rest of the day.
You too.
All right. See you.
Thank you for being here today with me on Be the Ripple podcast. And I hope today's conversation has sparked something, an idea, a bold step, or even just a reminder of the power you hold to create ripples of impact. And together we're proving that every voice matters and every ripple counts. And if this episode inspired you, please share it with someone who might need that spark today. Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss the incredible stories and voices that we'll be sharing next. So until next time, keep building bridges, breaking barriers, and creating ripples of your own. Together we'll make waves that reach far and wide. So take care, and I'll see you soon.